Come make kombucha with me. So first you're going to need to boil 2 cups of water, and this is to make your starter to go with your last batch. It's going to require 6 to 8 tea bags. I always go with 8. Drop them in once it comes to a boil, put it to the side, and just let it sit for about 10 minutes or however long. Here's my kombucha. That's a nice healthy SCOBY. Don't worry, the brownish color is just remnants from the tea. I like to give it a real good stir before I begin taking care of my last batch, and we will do that together. So I'm going to put my SCOBY to the side in a glass bowl, and I'm going to pour out 2 cups from my last batch. You always do this for your next batch. Then I pour my last batch of kombucha into just this pitcher that has a little spout that makes it a little bit easier to pour. Remember, when making and fermenting kombucha, you always want to keep it in a sanitized glass container that is like food grade, okay? But yeah, then I just transfer it to make it easier for the pour and flavoring, which we're going to do now. My husband really likes it plain, so I'm going to do 2 cups plain. And what I do is I literally use old kombucha jars that I've kept, and I do boil them in between uses. And as you see, I'm just going to fill it up with plain kombucha. I don't need a lot of room for the top when it's the plain flavor. And then I just tighten it really tight. Then I slap on my labels and I move to the fun flavors. My husband requested watermelon, so we're going to try it. I'm going to add juice to flavor this, so I'm only going to fill the bottle to like the top of where the label is. Here, I will show you a better angle. Right about there. Here we have it. And now I'm quite literally filling the rest of the way with watermelon juice. Just simply watermelon is what I'm choosing to use. Now you just label and lid them. Next flavor is peach, and I literally am using some frozen peaches to do this. I like to muddle them though, so I'm gonna have to let them thaw real quick. Once they're thawed, I literally use an apple core and I just mush them until they're ready. Once they were mushy enough for me, I decided I wanted to add like some sugar just to give my kombucha some oomph. I don't know, just trying it. Using a very complex scientific process, I then divide it between the 2 jars. Now I'm gonna pour, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of room at the top for the second round of fermentation. Of course, I'm gonna label and I'm gonna lid them. And next flavor, the next flavor I'm gonna do is ginger, because simply I love ginger. And what I do is I quite literally grind some ginger up directly into the bottle just using a cheese grater. And I add some peppercorns just to give it a little kick. Then of course I'm just gonna fill it, I'm gonna label it, and I'm gonna slap the lid on it. Now for the second round of fermentation, aka the flavoring fermentation round, I just pop these bottles into this box, which I'm then going to gently tape shut and that way it keeps them in a dark spot. And it's still easy enough for me to undo the tape and burp them every day, which I will show you in another video. Now we're going to put our beautiful SCOBY and those 2 cups of kombucha from our last batch back into our jar and wipe it up if you're messy like me. With your tea nice and cooled off, the bags taken out of it, add you 1 cup of raw cane sugar. Give it a real good stir and let it dissolve all the way. Now remember, make sure this is cooled down, not hot. You don't want to kill the healthy bacteria in your SCOBY. Okay, then you're just going to pour in that, remember 2 cups is what we made, and add it to the old starter that you had from your last batch. Now add cool water to the remainder of your jar, leaving some room at the top, like thus. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now you're going to cover it with a cheesecloth, and I just use a little hair tie, put it around. That, by the way, is just a giant pickle jar. And I like to store mine in the cabinet above my fridge. So sorry it's dusty. I had no idea until I filmed this. But yeah, see, I just slide it on up there, and I will check on it in a week. But I like to let my batch go about 2 weeks. So yeah, you don't want to store your kombucha anywhere really cold. because that is where mold grows. Where there's cold, there is mold.